The silence lingered, heavy, unrelenting. For 6 weeks, an unseen divide widened between two people who had promised to share everything. 6 weeks of untouched sheets, hands kept at bay, and flimsy excuses disguised as fatigue or harmless illness. At first, I convinced myself it was temporary, a passing phase, a natural adjustment to married life. Maybe she was simply cautious, I thought, needing time to settle into intimacy. I clung to optimism, determined to see only her best. My love for her burned so brightly that I staked my reputation, my home, my entire future on her. But love, I came to learn, can blind you until the truth stands in front of you, and that truth screamed in its quietness. When I finally gathered the courage to confront her, I braced myself for hesitation, maybe even regret. Instead, her gaze was cold, unwavering. Her words cut with surgical precision. My body belongs only to me. You have no right to it. They didn't just sting. They shattered my dignity. It wasn't only what she said, but the icy detachment in her tone, like she had never intended to be my partner at all. That night, lying alone again, the truth settled over me. This wasn't reluctance. This was betrayal, deliberate and cruel. We had first crossed paths 2 years before the wedding. She was radiant, magnetic, the kind of presence that drew every eye in the room. And yet, inexplicably, she chose me, or so I believed. She laughed at my clumsy jokes, leaned in closer when I spoke, painted dreams of a life we hadn't yet lived. To me, it felt like victory. I was convinced I was the man she wanted above all others. Our families adored her. My friends envied me. She seemed flawless, almost too flawless. In hindsight, I see it wasn't love at all, but a rehearsed performance, and I had been the unsuspecting audience. The truth revealed itself in fragments sharp enough to wound. Her phone, always locked, a fortress I could never enter, murmured calls in the dead of night. Whispers not meant for me. He'll never touch me. Never. The way she recoiled when I brushed her hand in public. Not from shyness, but contempt. And then, the revelation that broke me. One late night, scrolling through my emails, I stumbled upon an anonymous message. Attached were photos of her with another man, months before our wedding. Entwined in the intimacy, she denied me. The note was brief, mocking. She married you for status, not for love. It wasn't that she withheld closeness. She had simply reserved it for someone else. My sorrow hardened into something colder, sharper. Not rage, not despair. A quiet resolve. I didn't erupt. I didn't confront her outright. That would give her control. Instead, I smiled each morning, kissed her cheek, and carried on as though nothing had changed. Behind that mask, I began planning. I met with a lawyer, studying annulment law, how a marriage built on lies could be unraveled like a poorly written play once its script was exposed. I documented every cold night, every rejection, every gesture that turned intimacy into a weapon. Quietly, I restructured our finances, closing doors she didn't even know existed. She thought she had secured a life of comfort. She had no idea she stood on crumbling ground. When I filed for annulment, I didn't tell her. I let the document arrive during a cheerful brunch with her friends, the very people who once praised her devotion to me. The news spread like fire. She had denied intimacy, and I was dissolving the marriage. She stormed home, face twisted with fury. She accused me of humiliating her, of trying to control her, of believing that marriage granted me ownership. I stood still, silent. Then I handed her a file, messages, photos, testimonies. Her composure cracked. She tried denial, then tears, then begging, but by then, my heart was sealed against her pleas. In court, her lawyer leaned on arguments of autonomy and personal freedom. Mine countered with proof, fraud, deceit, manipulation. The scales tipped decisively. The judge saw not a woman protecting her independence, but a deceiver who had entered marriage under false pretenses, exploiting my name while withholding its essence. The annulment was granted, swift, final, and public. But the deepest blow came when her lover was forced to testify. My lawyer traced the anonymous emails back to him, dragging him into the light. Under oath, he admitted everything. Their affair had never ended. They had orchestrated it all, the marriage, the deception, the charade. She wanted the prestige of my name while giving her devotion to him. The courtroom fell silent. Her parents stared as though seeing a stranger. My family's pity turned into quiet respect. She collapsed in her seat, undone not by me, but by the truth she could no longer deny. When I walked out of that courtroom, I held my head high. Her reputation lay in ruins. The friends who once envied her now whisper her disgrace. The family who once idolized her turned away, and the man she betrayed me for disappeared the moment her mask fell. She was left with nothing but the wreckage of her own deceit. I took no joy in it. Revenge isn't loud or dramatic. It isn't plate-shattering or voices raised. It's quiet, precise, patient. I didn't rage. I simply dismantled her lies, piece by piece, until she stood exposed before the world. Do I regret it? No. I gave her the same silence she gave me for 6 weeks. But mine was final. And in that silence, she discovered the crushing weight of being truly invisible.